Well, good evening, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ira Thor, and I will serve as your MC on this special evening when we will celebrate Highlander excellence and history. Tonight marks the first time in more than 11 years that we gather to induct 11 Highlanders into our Athletic Hall of Fame. Tonight's honorees bridge more than 70 years of Highlander athletics, and woven between them is a story of how we are now a thriving Division I institution that competes in the America East Conference. Before we get too deep into the evening, it is my pleasure to introduce to you tonight's honorees. Damon Cowins, men's basketball class of 2004. Kelly Crowe Ascolese, women's basketball class of 2007. The Robert Swanson Award recipient, Professor Robert English. The Herb Iris Award recipient, King Moy, class of 1974. Steve Tice, baseball class of 1993. And Sonia Zacher-Martini, women's volleyball class of 1990. In addition, unfortunately for a variety of reasons, several of our inductees are unable to be with us tonight, but we do want to recognize and induct Wycliffe Gordon, men's volleyball class of 1990. Vincent Naimoli, Benefactor class of 1962. John Rapsomanikis, men's soccer, 1968. Erika Taugher, women's soccer class of 2008. And Wayne Webb, men's basketball class of 1958. Before we continue with the program, a little bit of housekeeping. If anybody needs to use the restroom tonight, the restrooms can be found out the door to my right, across the hall to the left. So just keep that in mind as our evening goes on, especially as the open bar continues. Now, as the honorees join their tables, I would like to welcome to the podium NJIT's Associate Vice President and Director of Athletics, Mr. Lenny Kaplan, for some opening remarks.
Good evening, everybody. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to the 2021 NJIT Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It has taken us a while to get here from our initial planned date of May of 2020, but like many other things, sometimes you have to wait for special moments in life. I'm sure as we listen to many of tonight's speeches, we will learn that the road to becoming a Hall of Fame athlete was not easy, nor was it a given. Setbacks, injuries, but most of all, perseverance. As I mentioned, this event has been adjusted, moved, postponed, changed. We've contended with COVID and Hurricane Ida and a number of other unfortunate events. But we're here tonight as we celebrate the outstanding careers and achievements and generosity of our honorees. It's going to be a great night, and I have to admit, I'm very excited. More than anything, I'm just glad to be back celebrating amongst our fellow Highlanders. I will hold some additional remarks for the end of the evening, so before I turn the microphone back to Ira Thor, it is my pleasure to introduce the President of NJIT, Dr. Joe Bloom.
Way they closed the ball, Lenny. So before I start, first of all, knowing so many of the people who are honorees this evening, King Moy and Demond, and just outstanding people who've contributed so much to our community. This is an amazing community, even though, as Lenny said, it took us 11 years to get back here for the Hall of Fame, but we wanted to make sure, and I am saying this with all seriousness, not only did we have the right building and the right venue and the right recipients. So that's why we're here this evening. And often I describe this is the building that Lenny Kaplan built. And I know many of you heard me talk about Lenny in my first meeting, when the reason we were going to D1, we had already been at D2, and I called a friend at my alma mater, one of my alma maters, Columbia. I said, we don't have a qualified AD to take us to D1 in New Jersey. Princeton, Rutgers. Anyway, so we went across the river, no, they're playing well. Did they win today? I didn't watch. They went, they didn't? Anyway. Got to be a little careful because we had a tough day today also out there. But then again, we were missing a star. So this very, very experienced coach said, there's a guy up at Manhattan, and he raved about Lenny Kaplan. So I knew Van Cortlandt Park. I knew where Manhattan was. Some of us used to run cross-country when it was 2.5 miles. Can you imagine? Cross-country, 2.5 miles. But it was really to get in shape for a different season. But when I arrived at Manhattan College, and for those of you who were here when we had the former gym, the Entwistle gym, Manhattan College looked like the locker room of our old gym. So I said, this is the guy. If he can really do this, Eve, I'm telling you, if he could do this, if he was as good as the Columbia AD was telling me, he's got the job. So he's got the job 22 years later. So when we talked about it's time to move the athletic program, the university was beginning to move. I'll talk a little about that in a couple minutes. And we were able to hire coaches like Brian Kennedy. It's time to continue to move the athletic program. And the only way we're going to move it, the only way we're going to attract the talent, some of whom is sitting in front of me, I won't call them out because then they'll give me a hard time, is we have to have a respectable facility for the kind of university this is. We are an R1 research university. It's only 131 out of 3,000 public universities, private and public universities, that are R1, the highest research-intensive university you can be. That's who we are. We are ranked in the top 50 of the public universities in this country. And don't forget, the publics, the schools that many of you went to, educate 70% of those who go on to colleges and universities. So we're a public university. We move students, when they come here, family income, lowest quintiles of family income. Give you a little idea today, those are the Pell recipients. I know there are a couple Pell recipients in this room. Pell grant, federal grant, family of four, $40,000 net income. Can you imagine living in New Jersey on that? So we move them from those lowest quintiles, 10 years of employment, right, Demond? 10 years of employment, they're in the upper quintiles of earning, right, King? So we know how well our alums do. We also ask them, of course, I won't get into that. Is this a fundraising dinner? No, it's not. Just checking where I am, you know. So we needed this facility. And I am telling you, before Lenny and I began this conversation, we would not have had this facility. We would not have had, where's Andrew? Andrew Schwartz has got to be hanging out here somewhere. Andrew Schwartz, Lenny Kaplan, some of you know Andrew Chris. If we did not have that team, and remember all of you here or out here who helped us over the years, whether you were on the courts or you came to the fundraising dinners and met and helped us with that as well, or like Bob English, who shows up and awards student scholarships, a former dean and faculty member here. We could not be here tonight. And that's why, in part, I think this evening, the Hall of Fame was postponed a bit. So our university is now among the best in the nation. And if you got a chance to walk around a bit, you see we're building a new residence hall for 548 students, apartment-style living. They built it as a U so the students can get the westerly view of the sun setting. You can't believe, you know, when you have architects on your campus, I think a couple of you may be related to people in that field, they want to be involved in every minutia design, and we allow it. It's important. We need to know what our students want, what our athletes want, what our coaches want, what our faculty want. And the job of this university is to make sure we give them all the tools, whether in the classroom, in the research lab, that they need to succeed. We've got to give them all of the tools, because otherwise we're not doing our jobs. We're not serving the populations that we recruit here. And talking about populations, as you probably know, we're one of the most diverse universities in the country. Of all the public universities in this state that produce engineers, NJIT produces 62% of the African-American engineers from public universities in the state of New Jersey. So take that, Rutgers. I mean, sorry. No, we love Rutgers, I really do. You know, so 62% of the African-American engineers from public universities in the state of New Jersey. We are ranked in the top 30 for minority engineers and computer scientists, including, and we have a lot of respect for the historically black and the historically, or the Hispanic serving institutions. So we succeed today, 72%. And I got to talk about the athletes because they exceed that. You know, the athletes here, 24 semesters, 25 semesters. It's a good thing I've got my mentor here, my proctor here. 25 semesters of 3.0. Let me just remember, 4 is an A, you know what, anyway. 3.0 or better, 24 semesters. 300 and today, 350, 60 athletes? 325, oh, you didn't give me an update. 325 athletes. And if you think calculus got any easier, or physics got any easier for those of you who are here and recall it, or chemistry got any easier, or mechanical engineering, statics and dynamics, strength and materials, didn't get any easier. Did not get any easier. 72% of the students who come to this institution graduate. 72%. You know what the graduation rate for our STEM majors nationally? It's just a little over 50%. Of the underrepresented minorities who come to this institution, black and Hispanic minorities who come to this institution, 66% are now graduating. 66, I won't tell you what it was 10 years ago. In the nation, it's 35% who start an engineering curriculum. So we do some amazing things because of the people who work here, the young men and women who come to this institution, those of you who support this institution, those of you who put in the extra time. Can you imagine doing our curriculum and then you got to go and practice with these coaches? They're not normal people. No, I'm only kidding. Brian, I'm only kidding. And then you got to go practice with these guys and perform on the court or in the arena or in the stadium. So this is what this institution is about. This is about the people who are here this evening. This is about our honorees this evening. All of you are just outstanding in what you've done for this institution. So I thank you. But before I sit down, I get to go home in a car this evening with, I get to do this. I've loved every moment that I've been here. For all 30 plus years, this colleague of mine who's been here, I think almost as long as I've been, all 30 years, past 11 years as president. You can't have a better, and they pay me. I get paid pretty well, actually. Don't tell my wife that, who I'm about to introduce. To my wife and partner, Diane Bloom, Dr. Diane Bloom. So enjoy the evening. Please celebrate all of our honorees. They've earned every moment of it. And thank you for joining us this evening. You all take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bloom, who has given me permission to remind everybody that the final score in football today was Michigan State 31 and Rutgers 13. And I actually was at that game before I came here, so true story. Much more fun moment here is tonight we will honor our Hall of Fame inductees. And as the volleyball play-by-play announcer for NJIT for the men and the women, it's really nice to see those players who've come before. And tonight we will honor, to begin our program, one of the all-time greats. Humble is the most accurate word to describe our next honoree. In meeting with Sean Morrison, where is Sean? I'll give Sean a shout out. She happened to mention that she played volleyball a little bit while at NJIT. So curiosity sparked research, and a Hall of Fame career was uncovered. In 3 years with the women's volleyball program, Sonia Zacher-Martini led the Highlanders to a 62-20 record, which ranks as one of the best records over a 3-year span in program history. The IAC Player of the Year, Zacher-Martini helped lead the program to a program best 26-6 overall record, which included an ECAC Metro New Jersey New York Championship semifinal appearance in 1988. She also garnered GTE Regional Academic All-America honors and all WIAC honors that season as well. She was an All-IAC honoree in consecutive seasons, 1987 and 1988. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to present Sonia Zacher-Martini for induction into the NJIT Athletics Hall of Fame.
He's got my notes. It wasn't a cheat sheet. We were allowed, in college, we were allowed these little notes to have. It was good, right?
You must be an engineer.
I am an engineer, very proud mechanical engineer. So would it help if I stand over here? Thank you, I'm not used to this. Is this better? Okay. Oh, boy. Well, thank you. Thank you all. And I heard my cheering section over there. Yay. So what they didn't have in numbers, they make up for in love. So I have a big cheering section over there. And first of all, congratulations to all my fellow inductees. And long time coming. And thank you, big thank you for this honor to Dr. Bloom, President Bloom, and to Sean Morrison, and to Lenny Kaplan, Stephanie, and to all the NJIT staff and the whole athletic department, and everybody that's made this event possible tonight, all the people behind the scenes that helped to bring us together here tonight. And we have, as I mentioned, we've come a long way. And as was mentioned earlier, this has been on again, off again, and we got through the COVID part, and we are here tonight. So this is, for me, a true honor to be here this evening. And I think about this, and I think that perhaps the most important accolade that Ira was going through, and I think the most important one to me is having been NJIT's first academic All-American. And that's, for two reasons, really. And it's funny because recently I was going through some paperwork, and I actually found a letter that my mom saved from, my sister's laughing, I think it was from Mal Simon, could have been, and it was the typed letter. Remember when they used to type letters and mail them? And so it was a typed letter. My mom took the pain to save, the painstaking effort to save, and that was announced to her and to my parents. And being NJIT's first academic All-American is really important to me for two reasons. And the first is the academic part. And that is very important to me. My parents always stressed the importance of education. My parents immigrated here from Germany in the 1950s. And to them, higher education was so important. And they instilled that in all of their children who went on to get higher educations and degrees. And my dad always introduces me as, this is my daughter, the engineer. So little bit proud there. And I'm so grateful because I love learning. And that was instilled to me from my parents. So that academic accomplishment is very important to me. The second reason that the Academic All-American is because it was NJIT's first Academic All-American. And to me, that's very important, and because it's a belief system that, strive to do your best, right? My parents really believed in me, and they said, do the best, be number one. And they're still saying that today, and my dad is still saying that to me, just be the best out there. So that, to me, it's that belief system that was instilled from such a young age. And my coach, Dave Denor, I know some of you know Dave, one of my volleyball players is here with me, Tulio Rios. And Dave Denor, I did not like throwing myself headfirst on the floor to do drills. That was not fun to me, or doing those jumps on the wall, never ending. But Dave instilled that. He believed in us. And he said, you can do it. Challenged us and encouraged us, and he believed in us. And that strong belief system, it was just something that carried us through. And as a young adult and a child, or a young adult in college, at the time, I don't maybe know that I appreciated all that pushing and all that challenging, but people pushing us to be our potential. I don't know that I saw that as good at the time. Now I do. I really appreciate all the pushing that I had and growing up. And later on, I hope that we all can appreciate all those things. And I hope that we are all good role models to those folks that we do influence, because we can really influence more people than we know. And I am grateful and blessed to still have people who believe and support and help me to reach my potential. And my cheering section especially. Yay! My wonderfully supportive husband and best friend, Scott. My sweet and loving mother-in-law, Wilma. My special friend and beautiful sister, Monica. Excuse me. And my dear father, the most hardworking man that I know, who's here with me today. I said I wouldn't do this. What happened? Must be the air. I don't know. Can't read my notes anymore. But that's my cheering section. And I'm very grateful that they're here today. And I'm so glad that this event is going on. Thank you again to everyone, my cheering section. I love you all. God bless you.
Congratulations, Sonia. Our next honoree is unable to join us this evening, but represents the decade of the 1950s. And think about it. Think about how far NJIT has come over the years to be in this beautiful facility tonight as we honor so many generations of athletes. A highly touted Essex County recruit coming out of high school, Wayne Webb, did not disappoint the Highlander faithful, finishing each season as a scoring leader. In his junior year, Webb helped NCE to a 9-6 record, and during his senior campaign, Webb set the school record for points in a game with 29, and nowadays that might happen a lot more often, but think about the era. 29 points against Brooklyn Poly en route to finishing the season with a scoring average of better than 20 points per game. Unfortunately, Mr. Webb is unable to join this evening. He asked that we thank everyone responsible for this honor and let everyone know how grateful and proud he is of his alma mater. Earlier this year, Wayne Webb was presented with his Hall of Fame Induction Award. Congratulations, Wayne. So I think at this time, it is time for dinner. So ladies and gentlemen, someone will come to your table and we will be released to enjoy our dinner buffet, and then we will continue our program as everyone enjoys their meals. Well, hello again, everybody. We hope you are enjoying your meals. And as we continue to enjoy these meals tonight, we're going to continue with our program with the Herb M. Iris Award. The Herb M. Iris Award recognizes exemplary leadership and support in the advancement of athletics at NJIT and honors the memory of Herb Iris, a great visionary and supporter of NJIT athletics. Only the second recipient ever of the Iris Award, King Moy's support of NJIT and the athletic department can only be summarized as selfless, humble, and kind. King Moy has often been heard saying, "I don't want recognition. I am so appreciative of all the education and opportunities that NJIT has given me." King Moy has been the driving force behind the Highlanders Golf Classic, which is the athletic department's most successful single-day fundraising event. And over the 20-plus years of existence, the Highlander Golf Classic has raised over $1 million. Most recently, King endowed the King and Helen Moy Scholarship, which provides financial assistance to a student athlete pursuing a degree in engineering. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure to present for induction into the NJIT Athletic Hall of Fame the Herb Iris recipient, Mr. King Moy.
Yeah, I told Lenny over many months that I don't think I deserve an award. The school had done a lot for me when I came to this country. I immigrated here 1969, didn't know anybody. 1970, I have no idea what I was going to do. I got accepted by NCE. At that time, still NCE, wasn't NJIT, and Ferry Dixon. It was the easy choice because Ferry Dixon, I think, was $8,000 or $10,000 a year. As a new immigrant, had no money. My parents had no money. They were working minimum wage in New York City. So I got a chance to accepted to a special program, and I received a bachelor degree in '74 and a master's degree in '77. Without a 2 degree, I wouldn't have been where I am today. So really, as I said, I owe the school more than the school, what I have done over the year. And also, thank you to the United States, allowing me to come to this country in 1969, after the 1965 immigration law change. So I appreciate for the award. But as I said, and I want to thank Lenny, Sean. I've been working with Lenny since day one when he joined the school.
probably go back 25 years. I want to thank the Herb Ira family. Herb was the one that asked me to consider getting involved in the school going back, I don't know, either 25 or 30 years ago. He was a client of in my business. And then last year, I met my wife in NCE at a school dance, so that was the best part. And thank you. And Dr. Bloom and President Bloom is very, very supportive of the athletic department's success, all due to Lenny and President Bloom and all Lenny's staff, Sean and Stephanie and all the staff. It was very enjoyable working with them over the last 25 years. Thank you.
Our next honoree is a standout among standout NJIT athletes. Regarded by Mal Simon as one of the finest players he has ever coached, John Rapsomanikis was one of NJIT's first All-Americans. Rapsomanikis guided the team to back-to-back NAIA championship appearances, capturing the national title in 1960 and finishing as runners-up in 1961. Over the course of his career, the Highlanders played to an impressive 32-5-2 overall record. Mr. Rapsomanikis was unable to join us this evening, but Lenny Kaplan presented John with his Hall of Fame award previously. Congratulations to Hall of Famer John Rapsomanikis. Our next award inductee is the Swanson Award, which is presented to the NJIT faculty or staff member who has shown continued support for the Highlander Athletics program. Inducted to the NJIT Hall of Fame as a member of its inaugural class in 1986, Bob Swanson served as Director of Athletics from 1947 to 1982. This year's honoree is Professor Robert English. Professor English was a member of the NJIT faculty from 1998 through 2015, and he served as the Dean of the School of Engineering Technology, and in addition to his role as Dean, Professor English served as the university's faculty athletics representative for the majority of his tenure, an avid supporter of our student athletes. Professor English can routinely be found supporting our team from the stands, both at home and on the road. Most recently, Professor English endowed the Professor English Scholarship Fund for student athletes pursuing a degree in NJIT's Newark College of Engineering. In recognition of his tireless and selfless efforts on behalf of Highlander student athletes, the Student Athlete Lounge located on the third floor of this building has been named the Professor Robert English and Family Student Athlete Lounge, and it will be dedicated later this year. Ladies and gentlemen, our recipient of the Robert Swanson Award, Professor Robert English.
Joel had his hand on my wallet when I was Again. Heck, could have been worse. Anyway, well, thank you very much for this kind award. I know my wife is going to be very appreciative if I can get rid of all my Little League participation trophies, over the fireplace in the living room. So this will be very nice. When I heard I had to give a speech up here tonight, I was thinking, well, what do you want to talk about? And I thought maybe some of the memories I've had here being connected to the athletic department. And I was probably involved for about 10 years or so, various roles, and one of them was the faculty athletic representative, where I tried to
well, a lot of behind-the-scenes type stuff, talking to faculty, getting things done. I really appreciated giving tests to the coaches. All right, the NCAA, you know, the NCAA is a whole bunch of lawyers that couldn't get real jobs. And they come up with all this paperwork stuff. Oh, it's unbelievable what goes on behind the scenes. I know a lot of the student athletes here, you know, you practice and all that, but behind the scenes, there's really a lot going on. And looking back, some of the memories, you think I'm going to talk about NJIT beating Michigan? Nah. All right, our baseball team, where is he? Where's the coach? He's back there somewhere, all right? Congratulations, outstanding season. And over the years, we've had some real good teams and not so good teams, but win or lose, I think the athletes gain a lot from their athletic endeavors, and they'll find this out later in their careers. So looking back at some of the memories, being in the FAR, the Faculty Athletic Representative, I had the opportunity to attend a lot of conferences and meetings and all this sort of thing, and I'm thinking, well, what stood out in my mind? Well, one was down at the Gaylord Convention Center outside of Washington. And the speaker, the main speaker was Billie Jean King. A lot of you people know who she is, but probably many of you don't, all right? She was probably the outstanding female tennis player from California. And I never realized it, but she was one of the driving forces behind Title IX. And she went through the whole history of Title IX. Now, why do I remember that? There must have been 2,000 people in the audience. In the middle of the thing, my cell phone starts going beep, 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 beep. And I didn't know how to shut the thing off, all right? And I'm in the middle and everybody's looking at me. So finally I figured it out. But what happened was, probably for the last 30 years, I've been very active in emergency medical services in the state. I'm an EMT, and I go on a lot of first aid calls and all that kind of stuff. And after 9/11, they hooked up all of these alerts when anything crazy happens. So what happened on January 15, 2009? Yeah, Sullenberger took a belly flop in the Hudson River, all right? And I guess I was probably the first one in Washington to know about that thing. So that was a very memorable event, all right? And I think all you female athletes in the audience really ought to look up the life of Billie Jean King. I mean, that was probably one of her major, a lot of people think, what was it, Bobby Riggs she beat in tennis? A lot of people think that was the highlight. It wasn't, it was Title IX. So the other one was a seminar put on here by Shannon Miller. And again, many of you probably don't know who she is, but she was an Olympic athlete back in 1996, I believe, in Atlanta, in the Olympics, somewhere around there. And I think she won something like 7 gold medals or medals. And, you know, she also won about 7, no, it was 9. I guess it was 9 world championships in gymnastics. And she came here and talked to the women athletes about her life. And a very motivational speaker, and her big challenge was not gymnastics, it was cancer. And shortly after, you know, her career in gymnastics was over, they removed a tumor about the size of a baseball from her abdomen, and she found out she had ovarian cancer. And she went through all of her struggles with chemotherapy and her children and all that kind of stuff. It was very moving, and that's a speech I'll never forget. I think Lenny was there at that one. And again, for you female athletes, you ought to look, I think she wrote a book, and she goes around giving motivational talks. Now, those are the plus. You know, I also have some negatives. And probably the biggest negative was going from Division II to Division I and filling out all the damn paperwork. And I'll just leave you with this story. The NCAA demands about this much paper, right? And I was part of it. And we're about 3 days before we had to send all that to Indianapolis for their approval. And somebody said, Bob, what happened to questions 5, 6, and 7? I said, what are you talking about? Well, I answered, you know, the earlier questions. I had a team who is it? Mary Beth Bolger was on it. Mary Kate Natus, who was in the School of Management, and a couple other folks put all this together, and this just disappeared. The reason was whoever copied the thing for me forgot a page, all right? So we got like I think it was 1 or 2 days, to get this thing in, and I didn't even tell Lenny about it. So we were up almost, all night trying to answer these questions for the NCAA, and it all worked out fine. And those are just, a few of the experience I've had with the athletic department here. And I continue to come to most of the games. I come to all the basketball games, occasionally volleyball. Soccer, I've never been able to understand. I guess there's plays and stuff. I don't know what they do out there. So I'll learn, though. I got plenty of time. All right? Retirement is great. I'm going to talk to Joel about it a little bit later about what to do during retirement. All right, thanks again.
We'll just have to bleep the part out about the NCAA before this goes online.
I'm retired. You can do it.
Well, we'll teach you about plenty of soccer in your retirement years. Congratulations, Professor English. Our next inductee was a member of the men's basketball team from 2001 through 2004. Cowins, his name is etched in the NJIT record books. He graduated as the program's all-time leading scorer with 1,909 points, and he also ranks 4th all-time in rebounding, 959, nearly 2,000 points and 1,000 rebounds, an amazing career. A prolific scorer, he still holds the school record with 478 career free throws made. He also ranks 3rd and 9th all-time for points in a season with 598 during his senior year in 2003-2004, and then 550 points during the 2002-03 campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure to present Cowins for induction to the NJIT Hall of Fame.
Good evening. All right, good evening, good evening. Okay, so I promised my wife I would be brief. Well, not really, but yeah. First, I just want to say congratulations to all the inductees of this Hall of Fame for this class. And also to NJIT, the administrators, the board, the committee, whoever had anything to do with this tonight, and also moving forward, just thank you. Thank you, really appreciate the acknowledgement. Just got to go into just a little bit of background, that I'm from Newark, South 17th Street Elementary. I want to thank my teachers from my elementary schools, the coaches, anyone that had anything in my formative years to pretty much help to get where I am today. My West Side Park community, my head coach at St. Benedict's Prep, Hank Cordero, Coach Gerald Holmes, which prior to speaking with him, I didn't even know anything about the NJIT program, and he recruited me, and I just wanted to say a big thank you for believing in me. Coach Spotswood, Coach Walker, those are the assistant coaches that during the time in the off season, they were really there for me, just getting me stronger, working on my jump shot, my ball handling, all that good stuff that you need to be successful in the court. And, you know, I got to tell you, there were some coaches and some athletes may know that they were harder on you than they were others, and sometimes you would say, man, you're just such a prick. But I got to tell you something, that those moments made me a stronger person. And, you know, they always say it's a beauty in the struggle. And I tell you, with some of those coaches I struggle with, but, you know, in life, you already know that you're going to deal with some challenges, and they help me to be strong, you know, to move forward those challenges. I got a lot of my day one brothers here, Ahmad Rasul, Jeff Dixon. You know, Jeff, we've been friends for over 30 years. We met skateboarding at about 8, 9 years old, so I'm happy that you're here tonight. One of my best friends, Ahmad Rasul. Part of the reason why I scored those 1,900 points was because he was my point guard, and he was able to find me in moments to score. My family, all my family that's here tonight, also my buddy Mars there, we always have jokes that when he came to NJIT, my freshman year, I led the team in scoring. When he got here, I went to about 3 or 4, third in scoring, because all the touches went to him. So I probably would have got about 2,000, but you know, he took about a good 100 of those points. But he knows all love. When we sit back and have our cigars and bourbon, you know, we always break each other balls. So just wanted to say that. And I gotta say that you know, my teammates that rock with me, as anyone knows, that when you're playing in a team sport, it's very important that people have some sort of trust and camaraderie. So I just wanted to thank any of the teammates that's out there watching this or will watch this. I just want to say thank you for rocking with me and believing in me while we were playing together. And I appreciate that time we spent. I want to say thank you for my stepmom that's here. Been in my life since I can pretty much remember. You know, she's with my dad. My dad couldn't be here. You know, he passed some time ago, but I just want to say thank you for always being there and being a mom. Of course, my dad gave me some great gems in life, so got to give him a shout out, Dad, you know. So thank you. My stepdad, Pete, you know, he's been there since probably about what, 8 or 9 years old. And a lot of people didn't know, but he was, you know, him and my mom, they've been thugging it out for about 30 years now. So really appreciate that. And then moving forward, just kind of segueing to my mom. You know, my mom, she made such a big sacrifice throughout the years. And even tonight, she's making a sacrifice to watch my 2 beautiful children while we're here. And I could tell you that a real brief story. Graduated high school, St. Benedict's, had no clue where I was going. Ended up pretty much not knowing what I was going to do. So she kicked me out the house, 18 years old. I moved down to Atlanta. So I'm down in Atlanta trying to find my way, trying to get in this school, trying to get in that school. She said one day, I just want to say big shout out to my son, Zayden. And I'm going to be real brief. I just want to say one more thing. My boy that's here, Ahmad Rasul, when it comes to relationships, you know, it was an interview when they asked the question, what was one of the greatest things that, you know, about being here at NJIT. So I was able to form a bond with someone such as my good brother. He's a brother from another mother, but my brother there, that from the first day we met, it was like, well, he's from Wildwood, I'm from Newark. I'm on my way to Wildwood. Yeah, you from Wildwood? Oh, well, come on, let's roll, let's go. And that was it. And we've been tight ever since. So I just want to say thank you for being supportive, not just as a friend, but as a brother. And I think that almost sums it up. I don't want to hold you guys too long. I want you guys to get home and watch the fight or something. But I just want to say thank you again, guys, and you know, appreciate all that you all have done, and have a great night. Thank you.
Congratulations, Damon. Our next honoree was a member of the women's soccer team from 2004 through 2008. Erika Taugher is regarded by many to be the best ever player to wear a Highlander uniform. In 72 games representing the Highlanders, she holds the school record for points in a career with 47. And she also shares the school record with 16 career goals, as well as the all-time mark for career assists with 15. Taugher also holds multiple single-game and single-season marks, including ranking second with 3 goals in a game in 2008, fourth in goals in a season with 6, and fourth in assists in a season with 5. And she also ranks both fourth and fifth with points in a season with 17 in 2004 and 15 points in 2005. Erika is unable to join us this evening, but she has a really, really good excuse, as she is home in Houston with her husband, Scott Reitz, a Highlander men's soccer alum, and their newborn daughter, Danica Taugher Reitz, who was born on September 22nd. Danica, your mom is a Hall of Famer. Congratulations. Erika Taugher, inducted for women's soccer into the Highlander Hall of Fame. Our next inductee is with us tonight and was a member of the women's basketball team from 2003 through 2007. A prolific scorer, Kelly Crowe Ascolese graduated as the school's all-time leading scorer with 1,497 points, which is currently second on the all-time list. Over the course of her career, Kelly averaged 13.2 points per game and ranks fourth all-time on the Highlanders' career assists list with 307. She could do it all. She is the school record holder with 282 career steals and also holds the career mark with 460 free throws sunk. A 2-time All-Central Atlantic Collegiate Conference selection, she earned conference all-tournament honors in 2005. And as a senior, Kelly helped usher in the Division I era as the co-captain of the first Division I women's basketball team. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure to present Kelly Crowe Ascolese for induction to NJIT's Athletic Hall of Fame.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm so grateful to be here to share such a special night, especially after the last couple years we've had with COVID. I'd just like to say thank you to NJIT and congratulations to all the other inductees. As I thought about what I wanted to say tonight, I really enjoyed kind of the trip down memory lane and reminiscing about all the people and the events that kind of brought me to this point tonight. It kind of started with memories of my AAU days and high school days and all the great coaches that I had that really inspired me and guided me. My parents, who were amazing and supported me, carted me around to practices and games all over the country, and were there through the ups and downs. And it was really the coaches and my family that led me to NJIT. I remember the very first time I stepped on the NJIT campus, and it was a summer picnic for prospective students right out here on the green, which is actually one of the very few areas of campus that semi-resembles the way it looked when I was here. But it's neat because I distinctly remember on that day, that was the day that I met Lenny, and I also met Dr. Bloom that day as the dean of the Honors College at that time. And that's kind of what makes NJIT neat. There's still people that are making a huge impact on the NJIT community that were here when I was here. I certainly have plenty of memories of my college days, especially how I'd return to campus every fall and have to ask myself if I was joining the track team or the basketball team, because all we did for the first 6 weeks was run. And then there were the early winter mornings when we'd make my way to the training room at 5 a.m., and I'd cross paths with the kids coming home from the frat parties and I'd ask myself what the heck I was doing with my life. But it was all worth it, and the sacrifice and the hard work, it paid off. And sure, there were some individual accomplishments, but there was nothing better than what the team achieved. The last few D2 seasons, we had winning records, we went to the playoffs, postseason play, and of course, my last year as playing a D1 schedule, we took our lashings, but it was all in the name of progress. And as I look around the campus today and follow the successes of several of the recent teams, I couldn't be more proud to say that I was a part of that progression. And thinking back to some of the games and the plays, a lot of those memories, fade. You've got the core ones that were really stuck in your mind, but the thing that I remember the most, of course, was my time with my teammates and my coaches. And, as with anything, it's the people that make an experience a good one. And I know two things are for certain. The first is I wouldn't be standing here without them. And they made my time at NJIT the great experience that it was. The friendships and the bonds that I made with my teammates isn't something that everyone gets to experience. And I'm just really feel fortunate to have had that opportunity. So all that being said, NJIT isn't just a memory. It's still a really special place for me and my family, as it allowed me to follow my passion for basketball, of course, and I have a great education that gave me a great career. But it's also where I met my husband, right over in Laurel Hall, and now we have 3 little junior Highlanders that we forced to sit on the couch and watch NJIT events as we stream them over the internet and watch on TV these days. So anyway, well, this award is NJIT's way of recognizing my accomplishments and the success that we had here as a team. It certainly isn't lost on me, all of the things that NJIT has provided and contributed to my life. So with that, just thank you to NJIT again, to all the coaches, my family, my teammates, and Roll Tech.
And that's potentially the highlight of the evening, hugs from the little ones on the red carpet. Congratulations, Kelly. Our next honoree this evening also was unable to join us, but was a member of the men's volleyball team from 1995 through 1998. One of the top offensive weapons in program history, Wycliffe Gordon graduated ranked 5th all-time in career kills. As a senior in 1998, Gordon earned AVCA second-team All-America honors. What is most recollected about his career was his pure athleticism. The ability to leap to touch 12 feet high. He baffled opponents with his shot selection on the court and his variety. It was once recounted that in the midst of a match, he jumped so high that he nearly kicked his setter in the throat. Think about how high you have to jump to be able to do that. The consummate teammate and sportsman, he did apologize. Wycliffe was not able to join us this evening, but will be recognized during the 50th anniversary celebration of men's volleyball this spring. Congratulations, Wycliffe Gordon, on your induction into the NJIT Athletic Hall of Fame. Before we continue with our final honorees of the evening, we're going to allow everyone to take a brief break, about 5 minutes. Well, we hope everybody has enjoyed the evening so far and had a chance to partake in dessert and coffee. We have 2 more honorees to wrap up and put a great bow on tonight. Our first honoree is Vincent Naimoli, who earned his master's degree in 1962 from NJIT, then Newark College of Engineering. A longtime member of the school's Board of Overseers, Naimoli's support of athletics led to, and you'll recognize the name, the construction of the Naimoli Family Athletic and Recreational Facility, home of the NJIT men's and women's tennis programs. Opened in 2011, the 25,000 square foot indoor athletic facility serves as home to the men's and women's tennis teams and provides also a home for NJIT's intramurals programs, recreational sports, and practice facilities. Originally from Patterson, Naimoli had a passion for baseball and was the original owner of Major League Baseball's Tampa Bay Rays. So the family is synonymous with baseball. Naimoli passed away in November 2019, and in recognition of his lifetime of service to NJIT and his commitment to Highlander athletics, the indoor turf room located on the 3rd floor of the Wellness and Events Center will be named the Lenda and Vincent Naimoli Turf Room. Earlier this year, and that certainly deserves a round of applause for sure. Earlier this year, Dr. Bloom and Vice President for University Advancement, Ken Alexo, presented Mr. Naimoli's widow, Lenda, Vince's Hall of Fame Award. Congratulations to the Naimoli family, and we thank them for their contributions to NJIT athletics with tonight's induction into the Athletic Hall of Fame. And while Mr. Naimoli's the first owner of the Tampa Bay Rays, and his former team is, of course, playing for a World Championship currently, or at least trying to get back to the World Series, it's fitting that our last honoree tonight is also from the sport of baseball, because then there was one. Our last honoree of the evening was a 4-year member of the NJIT baseball program, captaining the team for 3 years. As a pitcher, Steve Tice collected 23 wins in his career and added 5 saves. He also posted a career .314 batting average. Over the course of his career, the Highlanders never posted a losing season, en route to a 4-year record of 70-59. A 2-time Independent Athletic Conference IAC Player of the Year in both 1992 and 93, Tice was the Skyline Conference Pitcher of the Year in 1993. He was a 3-time All-IAC selection and a first-team All-Skyline Conference honoree in 1993, second-team All-Skyline in 1992. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure to present Steve Tice for induction into the NJIT Hall of Fame.
Alrighty. Good evening. To begin with, I want to congratulate my fellow 2020 Hall of Fame inductees. It's an honor to share this stage with all of you and your great accomplishments. I'd like to also thank Lenny Kaplan, Sean Morrison, the Hall of Fame committee, and everyone who assisted in making this event possible. It's always great to come back to NJIT and see the campus and how it has evolved over the years. It also allowed a lot of our guests to see this incredible facility, now known as the Wellness and Events Center here at NJIT. As a Highlander baseball alum, I would be remiss if I didn't start out with a huge shout out and congratulations to the 2021 Highlander baseball program. They put NJIT on the map with their first Division I College World Series appearance in Fayetteville, Arkansas. You guys, Coach McClellan, your team, you earned the respect across the U.S. and provided so much excitement within Highlander Nation. And here, back in 1990, I thought we put NJIT on the map with our Division III regional final loss to the College of Staten Island on Staten Island in front of 40 rain-soaked fans. 40. So again, congratulations. Good luck to you, Coach, and good luck to the 2022 season. It's not often when you look back at a 14-year baseball career, you can say without a doubt your first coach was your best coach. I could say that wholeheartedly. When I stepped onto a baseball field for the first time at 8 years old, my father was my coach. He coached my two older brothers ahead of me and continued coaching that same 8 and 9-year-old, we called them Peanut League team, the Giants in Belleville, New Jersey, for the next 22 years. A man of few words, but his words are always encouraging. Work hard, respect your opponent, and respect the game. When I look back, I truly appreciate my parents. They showed nothing but class and admiration as fans of me, my team, and the game of baseball. My parents would travel everywhere to watch me play, whether it be upstate New York, Pennsylvania, Long Island, or right here at our home field in Parsippany or Lyndhurst. We're still battling that one. We'll get a home field. But I look at my mom and I say, I don't think you realize just how comforting it was to look into the stands and see you and Dad sitting next to each other, rooting for me and my teammates. Always positive. They never created a scene. I really appreciated those days. Thanks, Mom. Thanks to the Butcher, that's my father's nickname, who's looking down and smiling from ear to ear today. I was fortunate enough to have two older brothers, my brother Brian, who's here tonight, and my late brother Kevin. I don't think they realized just how influential they were toward my success in sports. For one, I always wanted them to pick me when they were divvying up teams in our backyard with their friends. And secondly, because they were older, I always wanted to be better. Kevin let my competitive spirit roll off his back. However, my brother Brian, and I can see him laughing right now, was not so accommodating. We were and still are super competitive. From the garbage can football game in the backyard of 55 Carpenter Street to as recent as 2 months ago when he beat me on the golf course with a birdie putt on 18. That hurt. Anyway, $2. Anyway, so Kevin, and as I call him, OCBT, which is Overcompetitive Brian Tice, thank you for always pushing me to be as good, or to try to be as good as you. I love you, bro. Here's another crazy situation. So I'm last, so I can kind of just ramble a little bit. I'm sorry, I don't want to put you to sleep. But here's another crazy situation not too many people in the room probably can share. I said earlier I stepped onto a baseball field when I was 8 years old for the first time. Standing next to me at shortstop was a skinny, bulbous-head, freckle-faced kid named Mike Finan, who's also here tonight. From 8 years old, we would continue to play on the same team through Little League, All-Stars, high school, and then right here at NJIT. Our baseball odyssey of 14 years together would end in 1993. However, we would eventually rise again from the ashes of the ball field to win the over 40 softball league in Rutherford. 3 years ago. My main man, Mickey Finn, I heard this earlier, my brother from another mother, my Finn dog. I couldn't imagine this baseball journey without you, bro. Thanks for all your support and encouragement for the last 42 years. I got to acknowledge my teammates and Taugher Delta Phi fraternity brothers that made it tonight. John Zepiel. John, thanks so much for coming. Marty Conroy, Sean McCrae. You guys came down this evening to share in this great honor. We had a lot of fun, and we made the best of our time in beautiful downtown Newark. I'm proud to call you friends and teammates, but this bond we shared on and off the field makes us brothers, and I can't begin to thank you for all the help and encouragement throughout the years. I'd also like to thank big thank you to late Gene Schmid, head baseball coach here at NJIT for 30-plus years, for allowing me the opportunity to play for the Highlanders. I was fortunate enough to play for Coach Schmid for his 250th and 300th career wins during my career here. Doesn't sound like a lot for a guy who coached for 30 years, but you got to realize back in those days we only played about 20, 25 games per season. We only had about 15 or 17 members on our team, so everyone played multiple sports. And on Wednesdays, forget about it, with the common hour and who had to go to class, we would show up at games with like 12 people. So it was a great time with Coach Schmidt. He was a true gentleman and took a chance on a borderline academic kid from Belleville, and for that, I will always be grateful. My family sitting at this table right here, Michelle, Clorinda, Estella, Michael, and Nicholas, I really appreciate all your support over the years. My sister-in-law, Clorinda, I know you'll always remember the Golden Seal flip in 1983 in Branch Brook Park. It was one of your first dates with my brother, and I mean, who takes a girl to Branch Brook Park to see their 12-year-old brother play a Little League game against the Puerto Rican national team, which we won? My brother Kevin, that's who. Michael and Nicholas know that's the kind of guy your dad was. I share this honor with your father. I know that he is also sitting next to Pop-Up, smiling down on his little brother tonight. My crew from Bloomfield in the back corner who made their way down this evening, thank you guys. Thank you for always pointing out my flaws, the constant insults, and definitely keeping me grounded. Crossing Broad Street every morning is always a joy and an adventure, because when you finally get to your seat and get your cup of coffee, which you hope and pray is right, you can count on countless great banter and a whole lot of ball breaking. I really appreciate the friendships that you guys have forged over the years. I want to thank my in-laws, Charlie, Dot, Hess, Danny and Cindy Hess, and Joe Marie Cifelli, for your support, and most importantly, for allowing me to marry the prettiest girl in the room. Big ups from the bartender. My wife, Laura Jean, and my kids, Kyle and Emily. I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing all my war stories from back in the day, but at least you know that I actually played and was pretty good at NJIT. I can't thank you guys enough for all the love and support we share as a family. You got to have pretty thick skin to live in our house, and I couldn't think of 3 people I want to share this award with more than the 3 of you. You guys make me a better person. Kyle and Emily, I enjoy watching you both do your thing on the football and softball fields respectively. I apologize for sometimes overcoaching or overanalyzing, but no, I only want the best for you, and I look forward to seeing what the world has in store for you. Know this one thing for sure, I am your biggest fan. Our family dynamic is second to none, and I love you guys beyond words. Again, thanks everyone for sharing this award. Have a great evening, and God bless.
Congratulations, Steve, and count it, that is 11 inductees tonight into the NJIT Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been my pleasure to stand up here tonight and serve as the master of ceremony for this just awesome evening, this Hall of Fame ceremony. But I'm not the right one to put a bow on this evening, so let's close it out and welcome back Associate Vice President and Director of Athletics, Mr. Lenny Kaplan.
Thank you, everybody. Couple of housekeeping things. My 3 coaches that are here tonight, Brian Kennedy was introduced earlier, Robin McClellan from baseball, and Mike Lane from women's basketball. And I do really want to thank my staff, Sean Morrison, who's been the force behind this, getting this thing done tonight after 2+ years. Eladia Ruiz from our special events office, Olivia from Alumni Relations, Terry McGuckin from Development, Joe Vaca. I know Peg and Andrew are around someplace, but this event doesn't happen without all of those people. And we talked a little bit about our student athletes tonight. There's 4 of them in the room as well, so I just want to point out, Kelly and Maddie and Kellen Suley that are here tonight, 4 of our absolute best represent men's and women's basketball. So. This has been great. This is my 22nd year. I'm finishing my 22nd year here at NJIT, and it's events like this one that really kind of bring everything together. The words from our inductees and the ability to see everybody here together and hear their stories really let you know what really a special place NJIT has been for so many. I look back, we've just completed a project upstairs about the history here of NJIT, and look back on the story of Highlander athletics, and it comes to one simple truth, that no matter what's happening before is that we keep forging forward. The successes we found, as Kelly pointed out, the successes we're having now are really based on what's happened here before. And to the 11 inductees tonight, I thank you for your efforts, your financial support, working hard on behalf of our student athletes, and really telling everybody that we can really be as good as we are here. We still have a high ceiling here. We've had success before, and we're going to keep forging forward to new heights. Like those before, our current student athletes, as I just pointed out, and Joel kind of alluded to earlier, are very high achieving academically. We currently have a 3.468 GPA amongst our 325 student athletes. And as well, of the 19 sport teams we do now, which include 11 men's sports and 8 women's sports, we're nationally competitive. There's a wall outside that talks about our 4th place NCAA finish in men's fencing. We talked about baseball having a great run in Arkansas, kind of helping put NJIT on the baseball map. No matter how many times they mentioned that we were the only school of the 64 teams in the championship that did not have its own field. And Steve, I'll tell you that Dr. Bloom is committed to working on that for us. So, but everything here we do is we excel, and that's our goal. Our goal is to excel as a university, which, as Dr. Joel has pointed out, excel in athletics and excel as students and to go on in life. I want to thank everybody here for coming in tonight. Thank you for your attendance and honoring these most deserving people. To our honorees, congratulations. You're now members of the NJIT Hall of Fame, and it's a great honor with comes great responsibility. I ask that this is not the last time you're at this event. We need to now restart the tradition of getting everybody back and having the current Hall of Fame members come back each and every year. So I ask you to come back to this event, come back to campus, watch some games, stay involved, meet our student athletes, become mentors, and remember, once a Highlander, always a Highlander. Again, that's right, you can clap, it's all right. Thank you, Tulia. Tulia's still with us. So again, I want one more round of applause for our 11 honorees. Thank you. And again, thank you all for coming. It's been a great night, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Thanks.